exciting tour set up.
Hey everybody,
Yeah.
I'm Ryan. So today we're going to talk about Anthuriums, and I would like to first start off by saying that I am not an Anthurium expert. This is pretty much new to us, but I'm an Anthurium lover. And we've been doing a lot of crosses and a lot of things we've been trying out, and I have all this vision of what these are going to be in my head. We are definitely trying to make something pretty dark, but something with a unique shape as well.
Dark in a happy way.
In a happy way, yeah. So this is our collection. These are all of our stock plants, our mother plants, and we use them strictly for seed stock. We are doing some propagation off some of these. When they have a pup on the side, we'll take it off and propagate it, but for the most part, these are static. They stay here. We don't ever move them around. We're just using them for crosses. Everything that you see here, every one of these little tags shows exactly the cross, the date it was done, and who did it. The initials on there on this one are Josh Brunel. Him and I come in here every morning. They're receptive until probably about 9, 10 o'clock. And what you'll get, I don't think there's gonna be any that are still in female right now this late in the day. This one's in male. So this is from a good friend of ours from Houston, Brian Wu, from Woohoo Tropicals. This is called Woohoo's First Night. And it's amazing. It's a beautiful cross.
What is it a cross with?
I think it's a bench hybrid. I could ask him. I can't remember. I don't think he knows the exact parents or the cross of the parents, but.
And explain the male and female parts.
So each one of these flowers will go female first, which has this receptive kind of dew on them. After it's gone female, it switches over and it starts putting out male pollen. And that's the male pollen right there.
And explain why that is, because these are these self-sterile, or are these?
No, so they do that so something doesn't pollinate itself.
Right.
They do it so they're not inbreeding with themselves. Now you can trick them by, if you have one plant that goes male, you can take male pollen off, save that in the freezer, and then pollinate that same plant. If you just had something that was an amazing, you thought was going to be an amazing cross, and you still could get something good out of it.
Let's see that new leaf that you were about to pull out, but I rudely interrupted. Look at that, that's gorgeous. And that's from the
Woohoo Tropicals out of Houston.
What a great name.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, he does a lot of really cool crosses, and most of his greenhouse is filled with Anthuriums. This is kind of a new thing for us. We anticipate going over to a third bench. We just have 2 of them right now, and I don't have a ton of different ones. We're really starting to build the collection. I am going to Florida all next week, and I will guarantee you that there's probably going to be a third bench of plants when I get back from Florida, because Anthuriums are one of the goals that I'm going down there for. So I'm excited about that. So Steve's letting me bring a truckload of plants back. So hopefully we find some good stuff. The collection continues to grow and we keep making crosses.
Yeah.
A lot of the crosses that we have are still seedlings. So I haven't really seen a ton of color on the majority of the stuff that we've got, but they're looking promising. This is probably the most interesting cross that's sitting up here right now. This is Anthurium polysystem crossed with crystallinum.
I've never seen, it's curling though. That's interesting.
Yeah. So most of these crosses that we've done with, like we've done Clarinervium and it's sprouted. We've done Dock Block F2 and it's taken. We've done Narrow-form Vicii and it is taken. But they normally only put off on this when we're crossing one of the others to it, maybe 5 to 10 berries. This one's actually looking good. I think we're gonna get, I don't know, maybe 50 out of that guy. These are self crosses. These are just poly to poly on most of this other stuff.
It's just interesting though. It almost looks like the Wenlingerii that kind of curls a little bit. Yeah.
And flowers do weird things. They curl, they crest. I've got one that's crested right there.
Oh wow! Look at that.
We actually, this plant.
Can you show me that? Can you? Yeah. That's cool. So bizarre.
this plant, the first flower that it threw out was crested as well. And we tried to pollinate it because I thought, how cool would that be to have berries on this crested flower, and it didn't take. So I don't know if it may be sterile. I don't know. We'll try again once it comes up. I tried this one and it didn't take, I don't think, but yeah.
Strange. It's got like a reproductive, look at this.
Yeah,
it's got
double.
It's double.
I think I got it too. That's Forgetii Ace crossed with Papillinum. See how that goes. Here's Pap here.
Wait, Forgetii?
Forgetii crossed with Ace, crossed with Papillinum.
Okay, so it's 3.
And here's our Ace of Spades. Just one of the new leaves on it.
Very nice.
And this one has multiple plants growing out of the pot.
Oh, I love this. The Spathe and Spadex on these too, because it's also dark.
Yeah.
I actually don't think I've ever noticed the Spathe and Spadex on the Ace of Spades.
I was going to take a cut out of here and, propagate it and make another plant out of it, but we had so many flowers, I didn't want to spoil us not getting the cross. So, that's Ace of Spades crossed with a Barry Schwartz hybrid, which is Blue Velvet, which I have some of those over there too. Let's see what else. Ace of Spades crossed with Niger Laminum. Ace of Spades crossed with King of Spades.
It's so neat because it's almost like, it's kind of like when you have a multi-graft tree.
Right.
And here it's almost like it's not grafting, but you're crossing on each inflorescence spike, right?
Yep.
And you're adorning it with these toe tags.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, when I come through here in the morning and I see all these tags, it's exciting, I mean, you never know what you're going to get, and a lot of the stuff, I mean, these kind of things really shouldn't have even happened. Erin's cross that she did produced one seed, a Clarinervium to this, and it's over there germinated. Which,
oh, really? That's cool.
That was her first cross, and I'll show you on this one. There's initials on here. Which I talked him into this, and I'm going to show this on camera to prove that Don Miller doesn't just do begonias.
Don, cheating on the begonias.
Cheating on the begonia world. Look at that. We'll have to talk to him about that tomorrow.
So what did he cross?
So this is Forgetii Ace of Spades with Niger Alemnon.
Oh, okay. Yes, we saw that.
And I showed him. I said, this is super dark. Don, what if we could get that giant leaf over there, and we could make it this dark? It's like, yeah, let's do that one. So, yeah, talked Don into it, talked Erin into it, and Josh and I have done the majority of the rest of these.
So what you need to do then is basically then go into competition against one another and see who creates the best hybrid of Steve's leaves of all the employees.
Good idea. I like that idea.
Yeah, and then that way it encourages people to go out there and actually, do what Josh does. Finger some flowers.
Yes, all the time. Every morning they're out here and they're like, this one's female, let's go find the lady.
And the funny thing is Josh always asks me, is this okay to do? And I always tell him, it's your canvas, man, paint it. So, who knows what could come out of this. So it is kind of a, we are putting our initials on here. And the crazy thing is when they go over to seed, we haven't been tracking that. This is, it's a business thing, but we enjoy doing this. And it's like, I remember making that. So this one is an exciting one that we haven't had that long, but it's starting to get huge, which some of these things produce very little male pollen. So I'm not getting much male pollen off. This guy's the exception. This is Niger Laminum. And it produces so much male pollen that I pretty much got it on everything. It just goes
the Don Juan of Anthuriums.
It just goes for days. And you've got this guy that has this super wide sinus.
Yeah.
And this is Queen of Hearts.
Oh, I love that one.
So I do have one that's that one is still in female. And you can see it.
Oh, yeah.
So my all-out dream with this plant when I got it, because it's not a sterile plant, this one does produce offspring, is to cross it with crystallinum. And I thought, how cool would that big dark leaf be with that silver venation of the crystallinum? The first one I tried didn't take, of course. So we've got another one, and I'm gonna keep trying until I make that cross. It's gonna happen, I promise. Some wide form vichii. Here's another Queen of Hearts. Anthurium.
It's got some nice leaves on that one. Is
Yeah.
that a forgetii back there without the sinus?
Yep.
Yeah.
Forgetii. I had to move the forgetii because we do have a lot of forgetii ace of spades, and they do look similar, so I didn't want to mix the genetics up with them. This is a Dock Block F2. That's Dock Block F2 crossed to Papillanum.
So hard because you see all these like inflorescences coming out and you're like, who's who?
Yeah, and we have to track it down and see where it's coming from, so we know exactly what it is.
Yeah.
But we've got Anthurium ace of spades that we just took off. There was a picture of it on our Instagram. They look like little pumpkins. They were huge, and the seeds are massive. This is the only one I've ever seen that had seeds that big. I mean, the seeds were bigger than most berries on all of the others that we have. See what else I've got.
I love the shield shape of this.
It's nice, right?
One,
As it's getting bigger, it's getting just better and better.
Is that the same one that you said with the wide sinus?
I have 3 of them. One
Okay.
has a super wide sinus, which is this guy. It's coming from this spot, and the other ones are more like this.
Yeah.
But if we can get this with a really dark color, I mean, the options are endless.
Yeah.
That's what I just envision in my head. I picture this, this huge gape sinus with a really dark leaf, and it's like, or something that's like this with real heavy venation in it, big silver venation. I mean, what could we do? That's the most exciting. It's just envisioning what this is going to look like as a final product is what keeps me going on this.
This is nice to hear though too, because when I was in the Missouri Botanical Gardens, they, for obvious reasons, they're all about species there. They're like, oh, like they have a whole table of hybrids, and they're like, oh, we don't want to look at these, they're hybrids. And I'm like, you know how much like interesting genetics you possibly have here just with those hybrids, but it's a different purpose, altogether.
Right. And when I was bringing these in at first, I was bringing one in, and then I realized that I do want to make some that are just species to species of the same one. So then we went back, and now we're doing 3 of each just to kind of recreate that. Because when we first started out, everything was a hybrid. There was no crossing to a species. But now we're doing nigrolaminum to itself. We did King of Spades, which is a hybrid, but we did it to itself. Which here's King of Spades. It's an Indonesian hybrid. The classic Magnificum, which is living up to its name.
That is really phenomenal. Look at the size of that leaf. Yeah.
Anthurium Dark Mama. It's a Warocarianum Papillanum cross.
And this is does this have the male pollen on it?
Yeah. So we got some male.
Yeah.
This one didn't take.
Oh, I see that. Look, it kind of just shriveled up and aborted.
Not all of them take, but
Yeah.
the majority of these do. And we'll take seeds off. Sometimes we'll take seeds off of these guys for a week. They're just popping off, and I try not to go in and dig. I wait for them to come out or easily pry out to take them out. But
What's happening here?
I'm not sure. I thought there's no berries even set on them, and I thought it might have been one of those situations where it had germinated already inside of the flower, but it hasn't set seed yet. So I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, I was like, is this a virus? Like,
It did it on 2 different things.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I'm waiting to see what happens because they definitely took,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's a seed that's germinated. This is the first time this has ever happened here.
That's curious,
so.
yeah. First time I'm seeing that, but if anybody in the comments knows what's kind of going on, just fill in. What about the strap-like leafy one hanging right there? Is that?
This guy?
Yeah, pendulifolium.
I knew it was a P, but I don't have that one. Warocarianum?
Yeah, so beautiful, right? Must look up in the greenhouse if you want to see
Always
those.
look up.
Yeah.
I think this is my favorite. This is a Doc Block hybrid, Sarah crossed with Michelle.
Well, this has what you were talking about a little bit with the silver veination
Right.
and a darker leaf.
And his thing is too is the veins on the back are that real dark color.
And what's really cool is the sinus kind of like is looks like praying hands.
Yeah.
The sinus kind of meets itself in the center.
The one thing that this plant doesn't do is produce any male pollen.
Strange.
And maybe it's just the plant I have. I mean, it's mature enough. We've done a lot of crosses to it when it's female, but I've never collected or seen male pollen on this plant yet. And I've had it for almost a year.
And is this the flower? But this has been crossed now.
That one's been crossed. That's Zara Michelle crossed to Ace of Spades. So when we were on our Zoom call together, you made a suggestion to me that we should cross Carla Blackie with Ace of Spades. And I believe somebody on there said that we should name it Dark Rayne. So when I get these seeds out, I make you a promise that I'm gonna name one of these Dark Rayne.
Oh, that's amazing. That's cool.
But they were really small and they hadn't flowered during our presentation. That's the first flower on this guy. I hope it takes. If it doesn't, I'll keep trying it.
Yeah. That's cool. Well, I hope so. I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting in the wings.
Promised you 2 cameras.
Yeah, 2 different cameras. It's got to happen.
We could triangulate now. We could say, see? That's cool. Thank you for that. That's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Well, this is very exciting to see. I mean, I think the only Anthurium that I know that Steve had was the Polysticum, because that's what I got. I got that Anthurium from him.
Yep, I believe there's 2 others that he might have had that have been here a while, which is Scandens.
Scandens as
and
well, yeah.
Brazil, we still have, but you know, they set seed on their own. It's not something that we have to do. So.
Well, thank you so much for taking us through this little Anthurium tour.
Absolutely.
Obviously, a lot to take in, but very exciting to see how you're hybridizing it, and also that you're just clearly excited about the work, which is always nice to see.
Thank you.
What Anthurium crosses and hybrids would you like to see hit the market? Let the community know in the comments below. And the team at Steve's Leaves is generous enough to provide 15% off on their online store with the code SummerRain15. Some exclusions, like the auction items, do apply. And we have plenty of online learning on houseplant care, maintenance, and more, from houseplant basics to the Houseplant Masterclass. See our whole suite of courses over at homesteadbrooklyn.com and houseplantmasterclass.com. Lastly, we're approaching 2 years into our sister channel over at Flock Finger Lakes. If you're keen to see what we're building and growing at the new communal homestead, then head over to Flock and give the channel a follow too. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next episode here on Plant One On Me.